You know what's going to ignite the box office in 2025? Well, according to Lionsgate, it's release a Mel Gibson movie. So, hmm, let's talk about Flight Risk. Directed by Mel Gibson, Flight Risk tells the story of a pilot who transports an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem. The movie stars Michelle Dockery, Mark Wahlberg, and Topher Grace. I love going to the theater, right? I mean, it's kind of like my place, you know? I love movies and I love watching movies big and loud and yeah. So, yeah, for 2025 I said, "You know what? I'm going to watch more movies in the theater this year. New movies." You know? Of course, if a classic comes out and I want to go watch that again, I'll do that. By the way, Alien in the theater was amazing. But anyway, the question remains though, is Flight Risk the kind of movie that I would pay for a ticket to go see in the theater, say last year? I don't know about that. But I will say that much like Wolfman that came out last week, I'm a sucker for stories that take place in a closed location with a very limited cast. I mean, sounds a lot like Alien, you know? I like stories that take place like that. There's something about it. It's like the actors are really allowed to shine. The suspense and everything, the tension can really be ratcheted up because you have nowhere to go. So there was a lot of things going for this movie. I'll say this about the performances. I think everybody does a fine job. And there's really only the three main people, Michelle Dockery, Mark Wahlberg, Topher Grace. That's really that's really what you're dealing with for the most part. I mean, you do have a couple of other people that are on the phone or, over the radio or something like that. But for the most part, that's what you got. So it really hinges on those performances. There was, I'll say, not shaky performances, but shaky dialogue. Like, there's dialogue in this that doesn't seem to fit the situation. Like, why are you joking right now? And seriously, this is the time for you to throw out a one-liner. It was a little odd, but like I said, it was pretty good. And I got to say, I'm not typically the biggest fan of Mark Wahlberg, but he does a really good job of playing his part here. It's creepy in all the right ways. He definitely feels like a threat, and it's like I said, because of the closed location, the suspense is just ratcheted up. The odd thing about this movie is that it's pretty breezy and feels pretty short, and that's because, well, it is short. IMDb lists the running time of an hour and 31 minutes. And to give you an example, the start time for the movie was at 6 o'clock, and then they showed us, I'm pretty sure it was like 426 trailers. And then I think the movie started at like 6:25. We were home by 8 o'clock, if that gives you any indication. So that's one of those situations where it's kind of like, yeah, it's, you know, even if you don't like it, you're not going to be sitting there very long. So maybe that's a plus. But it's really kind of odd because it didn't feel like a Mel Gibson movie, you know? It didn't feel quite like I don't know. It felt very pedestrian, I guess. I mean, look, Mel Gibson made Braveheart, he made Hacksaw Ridge, he made Apocalypto. I mean, these are big movies. This is a very, very small, confined movie. And it was kind of odd because I was sitting there going, I don't see the Mel Gibson in this, because I mean, look, say what you will about the guy, but he does direct some movies pretty well. There are also things that happen that are just like, how do you still have a job as a marshal? I don't know. There's some odd choices in here. There are also some things that happen that stretch credibility, I'll just say. But again, it's kind of odd because it doesn't feel like a big theatrical release. It feels almost like a one-off Netflix movie, kind of. I know that's probably a bad thing to say, isn't it? So in a way, it's a lot like, I mean, I hate to compare it, but it's a lot like Wolfman. in the way that it's fine, but it's kind of also unremarkable, and it's kind of hard for me to say, yeah, you should definitely go out and see this. The thing is, it's got a cool premise. Like I think the premise is really good. The trailer completely sold me. If you want to see it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you saw the trailer and you thought, man, that looks like an interesting film, it's just it's just fine, I guess. I mean, I hate that. That's going to be my biggest challenge this year is when movies are just fine. Like, how do you tell people that you're just like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know what else to say. It's just, I don't know. I will say though, my wife had a great time. She wanted to see this movie too, and she was actually kind of excited to see it. And she said, "Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I like cheesy humor, but yeah, I had a good time with it." And there was a couple of laughs. I will say there were a couple of laughs, which kind of unexpected. I didn't expect it with the way that the trailer made it sound, but yeah, Topher Grace, does some wisecracks. Mark Wahlberg, wise. I mean, it's 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 fine. So basically, yeah, flight risk. I don't know what else to say other than yeah. I'm curious though if other people are kind of like, oh yeah, this movie was great. What are you saying? But I just kind of feel like it's just, eh. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you think about it because that's really what's important. It's kind of it's not just a one-way street. I like to hear what you have to say. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.